guys, it's Underdog Performance Horses here, UDP Therapy, and today we are talking about palpation. There are many ways to palpate a horse. I learned mine through superior therapy, and this is the most accurate way I've found. A lot of people usually just stroke along the horse and see where they pin their ears, and that's fine for horse owners, but I think this way you'll get a more accurate telling of where they are sore. So you can find some more videos of this at Superior Therapy's page. This is where I learned how to palpate. And before I put on the cross ties to really do palpation, I want to show you guys what not to do. And so using the back, you got both hands on them and you're going fast and you're barely putting any pressure. It's all about the speed at which you do it. You want to go slow so you can get an accurate telling of where they are sore. And a lot of people like to put a finger on both hands, but that's telling you they're sore. That's not telling you exactly where they're sore, because they can be sore on one side but not the other, or more so on one side than the other. So I like to do one side at a time when I do it, and very slow. And also when you do it fast, you're not getting an accurate amount of pressure. You got to go in with a good amount of pressure to really get an accurate telling. So I'm going to let her finish eating, and then we're going to hook her up to the cross ties. And we're going to get into the whole body, how to palpate. And if you don't know what palpation is, it's pretty much just touching and getting a feel for the horse, and you're finding where the pain is through touch. So if you think your horse is sore, this is a really good way to tell if your horse is sore, and if they need body work, chiropractic, any type of adjustments to the body, or even just fixing how you ride a little bit better. I can already tell I'm going to be moving the camera a lot in this video. But we're going to start from the neck and work our way all the way around. It's essentially the same thing on each side, but I will work all the way around so you can see that if there is tension on the other side, you can see it through this. First step, you're going to want a Sharpie marker. Now, you can use your fingers, and I like to go through with my fingers as well, but when I palpate, I mostly use the tip of a Sharpie marker because it is a lot like your finger, but you can get a lot deeper in, and you're saving your hands for the most important step, which is releasing the tension. Because if your hands are sore and tired by the end, then you're not going to be able to get as deep as you want. So the Sharpie marker just saves your hands for the important stuff. I also like to use it because I can get a lot deeper into the muscle, so you can find out a lot more information. So luckily her mane is on the other side, so I don't have to fight through a mane, but if you do, you just put it off to the other side, so it's on here. Flip it over because you want to have all this neck to work with. So, you got a bug bite? Looks like you're bugging you. Then you're going to start right behind that pole, pretty high up. And you're going to go all the way down, kind of following that crest of the neck until you get to that shoulder, or this brachiocephalus. And you're going to go through 3 times to make sure you got an accurate reading. So I'm right here following down that crest of the neck. And you're just letting it glaze. I'm not an English teacher. Glide over that crest of the neck. You don't want to fight with any muscles, just follow the muscle nicely. And she's releasing, she's licking and chewing, but you don't see any pinned ears. She's not looking back to bite at it. There's no vibrations through this neck. So you know that palpation line doesn't have any soreness really. So now you're going to go a little bit lower, maybe an inch, and you're going to follow that next line. And see how I'm not getting anything at all. You can see even she's releasing because you're getting started on releasing the tension there. But she's not showing us that there's anything to be concerned about. No pinned ears, no nothing. She's just enjoying the massage. And then you're going to go a little bit lower and follow that muscle down, brachiocephalus. One more time. And there's nothing. Now when I finish palpating the neck, I might come by these pecs here, and I might just rub on these pecs. And I'm not getting anything here, no pinned ears. And usually they carry a lot of tension here. Usually even she carries tension, but clearly I've been keeping up on my body work because there's no pinned ears, no nothing. It's a little bit tight. I feel like I can loosen it, but it's not causing any discomfort until now she's kind of feeling it. But then she releases. And I haven't even massaged yet. That's just kind of feeling around, which is essentially a big portion of massage. All right, now coming to our shoulder. we're gonna go, it's like drawing a pitchfork. So imagine drawing a pitchfork, and you go straight line down. 1, 2, 3. Nothing, no signs of tension. So now we're gonna do our pitchfork out. And you can do a straight line and then come out as well. There's nothing. Just a little bit of maybe realigning your posture, so that's something to look for and think about. Like, maybe there's something there, maybe there's not. And then you do your last line out. Nothing. I might come back here behind the pecs and between that elbow and just kind of rub, see if there's anything, and there's nothing. Or I might lift the skin here. I might come over to brachiocephalus, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, and kind of check and see if I can get behind that shoulder blade. And I can a little bit, but I'd like to get a little more when we get to our body work. But so far I'm not seeing anything on, this is the left side of the neck, so nothing on the neck and nothing on the shoulder on the side. But that doesn't mean we won't get it on the other side. So that's why we want to go from one side and then to the other side. So you take the skin on the shoulder and you should be able to lift it up. I would like to be able to lift it up more, but that's still very loose. Now going into our back, I wish I had a camera person because that would make it a lot easier. But we're going to go on and do our back. And with the back is my favorite to palpate because 9 times out of 10 there's something in the back. Be it from saddle fit, improper use of the body. If there's pain somewhere else, it usually follows up into that back region. So we're going to start at the withers and work our way back to our SI area. And you want to make sure when you palpate, you shouldn't be anywhere near these ribs. So when you feel those ribs start up right about here, you don't want to go below these ribs because there's not a lot of muscles here anyways. So you're not palpating anything. So try to avoid these ribs. And you're going to go from the withers, where the muscle starts, and is follow that center of the back, that center bone where you're going to be sitting on. Can you step back just a little bit? 1 second. You're going to try to follow that center of the spine as close as you can. Yeah, you're licking and chewing, but just stay put. I got 1 step. Thank you, babes. Oh, Johnny's bugging you. Is that it? You don't want to get too low because you have to do 3 lines. So you go from the back. Usually I use my left hand. You're going from here, and you're following as close as you can to that center of the back. This is a harder one because you have to be able to fit those 3 lines. And you're following as close as you can to that center of the back. I'm going to take my normal hand down, and I'm going to press it as much as I can, see if I get anything. They might tighten up that back and want to lift it up or down to move away from it. Again, the pinned ears, the body language you're looking for, swishing of the tail. I know. Johnny's being pushy. I'm blaming you. Yeah. So then when you come to your next side, you're going to go maybe a 1/2 inch down. You're going to keep moving with this one, aren't you? And you're following that line once again, just under it. And she's got a very wide back because she's old and she's fat. I'm sorry, baby, you're not fat. You're festively fat. So you're doing your 3 lines, and then you go just above where that rib starts, so you want to be able to feel where that rib is. And you go just above that 3 times. And I'm not feeling anything. Going over it again where you guys can see, and this is why it's important you don't want to just do 2 lines because you can get an inaccurate reading, and you don't want to go too fast. Speed is everything. So I'm going to go just where those withers are and follow as close as I can. Just below that line. It's a little harder to see with the phone in front of my face. And just above the ribs for that 3rd line. I'm not getting anything so far. Now with this top of the hip, can I back to a simple step, babes? One more. This is a hard one to get a good camera angle for. Johnny, I love you too. But you're going to go just on top of that hip. There's 3 lines. And I might have to look in my book if I remember before I post this video to look at what each line means. Okay guys, I looked at my notes of superior therapy with little Robin here. And I looked up what the 3 lines mean. I'm not going to show the whole diagram. If you guys are interested, you got to take the course, or I can tell you the book it's from. Let me know below. But the first line is the SI line, the sacroiliac line, which is going to be your lower back, where the SI would be. And that whole line will tell you if there's stiffness in that SI. And that's kind of, you're going to see it in the video, but it's somewhat close to where that lumbar spine would be, like kind of like right below that at the top of the hip. Below that, you have your stifle and your sciatic, I believe the sciatic nerve, I want to say, but it just says sciatic. But that stifle sciatic line, and that's just below that SI, maybe a half inch. And then your third line, which you will see, is the hock and the femoral nerve line. So, and that's why I really like this version of palpating, because you can see if there's stiffness in the hock. Because that's a good way I test to see, like, is there something going on with my horse in the hocks. Now, I don't believe there's anything you can do for the knees. There's probably some acupressure points for that. But there's nothing unlike the shoulder ones that I know about that can tell you if there's stiffness in the knees or any nerves through there. But that is essentially what this is saying, and I highly recommend taking the superior therapy massage course if you're interested in superior therapy. And some, not all of her noise, but some notes, what am I saying? Some of her notes, you can't find her actual notes, but you can get some of the diagrams without her notes through a book by John Green. I'd have to get it. It's on Amazon for like $5, but I highly recommend taking her course because you'll actually get all of these notes with it. Oh, and there's even an EPM line and 3 stifle points and 2 hock points. So there's like, this is why acupressure is so important. Again, I'm not going to show this. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know and I can maybe look into that. Or superior therapy probably has videos on these. But yeah, in fact, I've seen some of these acupressure points doing it. I'm going to end up rambling. My guinea pig's telling me to shut up. So let me know if you have any questions. 3 lines on the hip that can tell you anywhere on this back side of the horse where there's stiffness. And so you do 1 at the top of the hip. 1, 2, 3. Johnny, no kisses. Look, I'm going to be mean. Okay, I'll let you on 2 seconds. I'm so mean. 1 line, and I'm going to get another close-up. 2, 3. She's not making any movements now that Johnny's put away. So there's no vibrations, there's no moving away from the pressure, there's nothing in her head she's doing. She's kind of just looking. Then we get to our next line, which is only like maybe an inch below it, and I'm again not getting anything. Then we go a little bit lower. 1, 2, 3. And again, superior therapy, who I learned from, she does it even better. And she has a camera person to get these angles a little bit better. I'm going to do my best, but I prefer to be two-handed and not have a phone in front of my face. But you're getting just at that top. 1, 2, 3. A little bit below, I can't even see, barely. 1, 2, 3. Then a little bit below. 1, 2, 3. Now there's one more thing we got to do before we move on to that next side, and that's check the hamstrings. So you're just going to follow your hand down. I might bring my hand down here where there's an acupressure point, see if she lifts that tail a little bit, maybe rock her back and forth just to check there. She's kind of lifting that tail away from that pressure point. Again, check down the hamstring. I like to step directly behind them. You gotta know a horse because you cannot put your safety at risk. But I like to take that tail and I just take my thumb and I press down to see how far I can get my finger into these without them moving away. And I'm getting my thumb pretty deep in there, so I know these hamstrings are loose. You can't really pick up skin here like you can the shoulder, but you can press down. And right away, before I even move on to this other side, I'm going to check the other hamstring. So I would move that tail on this side, same thing, press my finger into it, and I'm getting that same reading when I press into her, that there's not a lot going on here. I can step on over here and kind of rub down in here. And when I'm on this side, I see, okay, maybe they could be a little bit looser. I'm not getting as much wiggle out of it, if that makes sense. So you definitely want to check your hamstrings when you palpate. Just showing what I did here. I'll try to move that tail. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to move that. But you press your thumb into it to see how deep you can get it in there. And then so yeah, I can get a little bit looser, but it's really not bad. She's a thick-bootied Morgan. You can see this side's a little bit looser, in my professional opinion. I can get a little bit more wiggle out of it. So I'd say if anything, this side gets a little bit more tension, but overall it's not bad. It's just a little bit of tweaking. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this the best I can. As you can tell, now we're on the main side. Girl, what happened to your luscious locks? I gotta brush her mane more often. It's still a little bit long. But you're gonna push as much as you can the mane onto this side, and you're gonna be fighting with it. But that's okay. Just do the best you can to work around the hair, because some horses have a lot of hair, some horses don't. So again, you start up here, kind of right behind the pole. You're going to take your Sharpie marker or your hand and follow that crest of the neck. Again, usually I'm using, now when I get to this side, I usually use my right hand. But just to show so you guys can see the point, follow that crest of the neck. I just let the muscle take me where it wants to take me. Don't feel like you gotta fight the muscle, you know, you're up here and then you're, you know, just follow where the muscle takes you. But I'm not getting anything at this crest of the neck. So now we're gonna go a little bit lower. Once again, kind of starting at that same point, but now we're going a little bit lower. And you can kind of, I don't know if you can on camera, but I can see at my imprints at each line I'm about maybe an inch below. Another reason I like to use a Sharpie, because you can see that. Now, last line, and I maybe get a little bit too low there, so I might try to follow it a little bit longer, and you're going into that brachiocephalus. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And then I might check that, and this is really loose on this side. This muscle here, I can get my hand behind that shoulder blade a lot better. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this side was a little bit stiff, so I was like, I might have to work on that a bit. But now that I've compared it, I can say, yes, this other side is definitely more stiff than I'd like. This is very loose. And I'll try to get a close up. I might check down here if I want to. And I might check this crest of the neck up here, and I'd like to get a little more flexibility. I'm not going to spend too much time on it right now because I'm just palpating. I might check her face, just rub along her face. Maybe your pole, but usually I just save it till the end because I gotta work on it anyways. And of course we have our pecs. I'd say this side's a little tighter, so you just rub up and down, trying to pull and loosen that muscle. I might do some circular motions on it. I might grab it, you know, grab a tit. Yeah. And I can definitely loosen that when I go back and do my massage. So now I'm going to rub right behind that elbow, kind of finish off that pec, see if there's anything. And you can also fix this in leg stretches. I might lift up the leg. I don't know how much you guys can see. Can you see that? I have a video about leg stretching. I might lift up that leg and push it back and forth. I'm going to pick your feet out. I might take that elbow and lift it up away from the pecs. And I know you guys can't see that very well. I do have a video up, I believe, about that. I might have to update that video, we'll find out. that's essentially palpating the neck. Now we're going to go into the shoulder. The shoulder, again, we're drawing our pitchfork. Starting from the top, straight line down. And again, not getting anything. She's pretty loose today, but I'm also not riding her consistently. She's retired now. Sorry. She's retired now. Follow that line down with a good amount of pressure. And I'm not getting anything. I might go in with my hands. Nothing. And if anything, she releases. She's like, yeah, keep doing that. Some people like to do the line and then come out again once again. I usually just come out. This is just a repeat. Come out my pitchfork. Her eyes aren't showing me anything. Her ears aren't pinned. There's a lot of videos out there that you can see like how to find signs that a palpation is going on. I wish she was giving me some signs so that you guys can see. But also I'm not going to complain that my horse doesn't have sore muscles, you know. Follow that line down. Again, I come in with my hand a little bit. Now we got one more line, and that's the front of the pitchfork. I'm once again not seeing anything. I might lift up take that loose skin and see if I can lift it up. And I'm getting a lot of flexation from this, circle it. I'm getting very soft muscles. Girl. No pinned ears, no nothing. Looking down here. Yep, nothing. Now we're going to go into the back. Now we're onto our back. I wish you guys could see her face, because my biggest telltale sign is looking at the face of the horse. But the back is really easy because they usually try to hunch down to move away from that pressure. Or my horse will clench. You can see, like if I'm palpating right here on the horse, you'll see some clenching right around there. Especially Rocket, when I had a saddle that didn't fit him, I palpated his back. And up here is good, and then we got here, and all the muscles around him tightened around that point. And that's how I knew that the bar angle didn't quite fit him. The saddle in total didn't fit him, unfortunately. Now I have one that fits, and I've worked the pain out. This spot doesn't give him any sign. His back is great now. And that's why you have to rule out, like, why did this come out of place? Was it a fluke? Was it saddle fit? Was I riding improperly? Concussion? There's so many reasons that a muscle can go sore. I want to try to step on this side. Hi, babes. Yeah. Start at the withers. Okay. Again, usually you use your strong hand on this side, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to do the first line here, just below where your seat bones would sit. Do 3. I'm going to do the other one with this side. Then get more pressure. Nothing. Go just below that. Each line should be fairly close to each other just because you have such a short amount of space to work with. Nothing. Go just below that. Hopefully you guys can see pretty well. And you're just following that rib cage without hitting it. You want to be above that rib cage. Again, I'm not getting anything out of her. So sometimes you can feel along here. Then I might feel below the stomach. Not nipping or anything. If I think they have ulcers, you usually check on both sides, but the side of the stomach is on this side. So get a bigger tell on this side if you think there's ulcers, and you can check the ulcer lines. This right side is the side you want to check. You can check the left side as well, but they're going to have a stronger reaction on the right side if it's ulcers. You take your Sharpie and you go where the foregut is. Nothing, no pinned ears. I keep her on an ulcer supplement, so I should hope not. And this hind gut, you'll get a huge reaction here if they have ulcers. And she's just falling asleep right now. She doesn't care. This is something I'll do with horses that I think might have ulcers, or the owner thinks they might have ulcers. If you do that, be careful of how you word it, because yes, there's a good chance they have ulcers if they're reactive here, but you don't want to take the place of the vet. So you can say they are reactive here, so I wouldn't rule out ulcers, maybe scope them and see what the vet thinks. But this is a good way to tell, like, hey, there's a possibility of ulcers here, so you might want to treat it or at least scope it and make sure so you can rule it out. Are you falling asleep? Licking and chewing. Now we're going to move over to the hip. Same thing, I won't even move the camera. Top of that hip. Again, I will look up to see what each line means. I'm not good at memorizing it. I just know that one of them is for the hock, etc., etc. And there's nothing. Each line should be fairly close to one another. I'm actually doing better on this side. Maybe I should get a close up. See if you guys can. Can you guys see my lines? There's one here, here, and here. Let me see if I can. 1, 2. No vibration. There's no pinned ears. Might double check my hamstrings again. But yeah, that is palpation. Now that I've finished all my palpation, this is the step where I go into massage, which we're not going to get to today. But I do have to massage her after this video. I'm going to quickly go through and massage her. And hopefully everyone... Oh, I got to let Johnny's door open again. But, yeah, that is pretty much how to do palpation. Again, Superior Therapy has a lot more detailed videos because she's been doing this for many, many years. And she is fantastic. So go check out those videos for an even more detailed explanation. But this is essentially the basics of it. If you guys want to go home and palpate your horse and double check if there's any pain, or if you're looking to learn massage, make sure you do a certification course. But this is something that will absolutely be touched on in any certification course. So it'll give you some room to practice until you can take a certification course. So yeah, Velvet, did you have fun? Are you ready for your massage? You're a good girl. You're such a good girl. So yeah. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I will do my best to answer. And if I can't answer, I will redirect you to someone who can answer. Thank you guys so much, and hope you learned a lot. Contact me on Facebook, Underdogs Performance Horses, if you would like to schedule, or 734-341-8869. Thank you guys so much.